Paul, what is Ancient Pathways, and why did you create it?
Ancient Pathways came out of a deep desire to take people back into the old ways. The times when people were really connected to the earth, the times when people were connected to themselves, and the times when people were truly connected to who they were and what they were all about. Came from my great-grandfather a long time ago, who took me to a lot of the ancient sites in New Zealand, and I got to see that people had actually lived there before the white people had arrived. And they had a whole set of beliefs, a whole different set of beliefs and a whole different way of living. Then I got to see how they'd lived carefully and gently on the earth for such a long time. And I wanted to do something with that. That was a deep passion, a deep reasoning behind bringing this back, to bring people back to themselves, to enable them to connect with the earth, and to enable them to connect to what they're here for, what is truly important for them.
And what drives you personally?
My passion is to make a difference in the world of others. I've been a natural therapist now for over 30 years, and generally it's the same thing that I hear over and over again, that people have conditions, that they have anxiety, they're not settled in themselves, they don't feel confident, they find difficulty in working out where their worlds are going and what it is that, what part they have to play, and some of them feel very disillusioned about that. So my desire and my drive was to give people the tools to be able to take them back to themselves quickly and easily, and to be able to ensure that they get exactly what they need so they can go out and make a difference in the world as well.
And what can people do to get on their path?
Well, essentially there's two main things that we talk about in our work. It gets back to yourself. It's beginning to listen to the core issues of what's inside you. Are things working for you? Do you feel confident in yourself? Do you feel comfortable in who you are? Or is there a nagging sensation that something's not quite right, that maybe you're off path a little bit? And if so, it's going into the stillness. It's learning to settle down into yourself, realizing that you are the only ones that have your own answers inside. And to find those, to learn how to work with the unconscious mind, to connect with what we call cleaning up your river, where we go back in the past and we learn to clean up the issues in our baggage from the past, so we can hear clearly what our messages are. We look also at what you're good at naturally, what your natural talents and abilities are, what you're naturally good at, and what it is that you could do or would do whether you got paid for it or not. That deep desire, that deep passion inside, these are your blueprints for life.
So how can people use what you have to offer, and what is it that you do in particular have to offer that you've created for people?
Phoebe and I spend a lot of time travelling all over the globe. We've travelled to so many countries. We put our lives at risk many times to bring back the information that we have. We went and sat with the elders in the high peaks over 5,000 meters up in the Andes. We went into the jungles of Mexico. We went to Africa to sit with the Dogon people, to sit with these old people, the last of the wisdom keepers at many times, and bring it back, the information, with a sense of reverence, so we could put it back in audio form, in workshop form, in book form, so that people could take what they needed. So they had that essence of what it seems to be, or what actually is one of the last threads of the information that we have available to us, and connect us to all of these things.
What courses do you have available?
Yeah, the courses that we're running, and I've only started this year through a demand. A lot of people have been asking us for courses. What we have is the first one, which is Back to Balance. Now, Back to Balance is an absolute passion for me, because what we get to do in the workshop is that Phoebe and I have created a package of a one day where you can get together and you can learn how to connect with the earth. You can learn how to get back to your breathing and what true breathing is all about. You have tools that you're given that enable you to find peace, connection, calmness at any time that you choose, any situation at all. You learn how to go within, and you learn how to begin to ground that and find that you do truly have the answers inside. We also incorporate the foods that are right for your constitution, which comes out of a lot of the learnings and trainings that we've done in acupuncture and oriental medicine over some 26 years. Included with that is the ancient wisdom. Included with that is a whole lot of fun, helping you to break down your issues, get out of your own way, and move into something that's way more beneficial for you. Coming home, in addition to that, is our 2-day event that gets more into your life story. What have you been telling yourself? What is that old story that's been holding you back? And how can you go back there and truly get rid of that? Rewrite your story. What is it, the legacy that you want to leave behind? Do you have a message for the world? What are the messages and what's the inspiration that's coming through that's getting blocked that you could hook into, clear anything that's holding you back, and step into a world that you want to create? Something that's absolutely amazing that will benefit other people. And last but not least, of course, we have our desert journeys as well, which take you back to literally sit with the elders of Pitjantjatjara country, the old people, some of the last wisdom keepers in the desert, and let the desert speak to you. Let nature speak to you. Go to these sacred sites that have been held sacred for so long and get to actually experience and immerse yourself in what we've been talking about.
So could you expand on the desert dreaming journey, what it's about, what people can get from it, why it's important, all that sort of thing?
Mm-hmm. The desert dreaming is literally what I was saying to you before, is that we went there with the greenstone. You'd need to look at our site to understand what the greenstone journeys are all about. But essentially it was a journey of trust where we took the ancient and sacred stone of New Zealand, of Aotearoa, the greenstone, the jade of New Zealand, around the planet to the elders. And one of those trips was to take it to the elders of Pitjantjatjara country, to Central Australia. And they accepted us with open arms. We're now considered family in that area. They took us to the regions that they held sacred. They told us how long they had been living in this land, because they had never been removed from this place. We sat around the fire. We made clapping sticks with the old women. We sat with the old men and dug for honey ants. And we came away quite transformed. And there's a real story behind all of this, and a journey of trust. And when we step into trust, you know that everything begins to take off in beautiful ways. So we're getting to recreate that and now take people back to sit amongst the sands and be part of that experience again. We all get to share it. We're in swags for 7 days, sleeping on the earth. And we wanted to share that with others.
And so how many can go on this journey?
There's only 8 spaces available now. Already 3 of those have been taken. And we know that the others are filling fast. So there's really only exactly 5 spaces left. And I know there's a great demand for this. This is a very special experience.
So who's going to be doing the teaching, Paul? Is it just yourself, or?
Yeah, there'll be a lot of teaching. The desert would be the #1 teacher. When you go into the silence in the desert, when you listen to the winds, when you look at the stars at night, when you see the full moon rising, and that silence, that is your greatest teacher. And within that we have the elders of Pitjantjatjara, the women and the men, who will come and go. They'll see where we're at and they'll come and share their stories as they see fit. But they're constantly watching us and sharing what they can with us, teaching what they can, what people are ready to hear. And amongst that, Phoebe and I will be there as well as facilitators. Well, we spin the story, we weave the story of our journeys of the greenstone and the metaphor of what it takes to trust, and what happens when you do trust in your world, when you do step out into your knowing, and how your world changes immensely.
Oh wow, so there are only 5 spaces left. So how can I join? How can I get on board?
It's a window of opportunity. Best thing to do is take action, as always. If this is calling you, if you really feel that you want to connect with that, and that's how we work. If you get that pull, that zing to go, that desire to make it happen, it will happen. Jump on board, have a look at our website. You'll see that you can register there. If any trouble with that, contact us. Get in contact with us on phone or email us. We're more than willing to help you. If you needed assistance as payment plans or anything, it's a matter of us making it available to the people that are really being called to this journey. So please, Sense it out, feel, connect with it. If it's for you, jump on board. We'll do everything we can to make it happen for you.
And, you know, say if I wanted to go and it's really pulling me, why is it important that I actually follow that calling?
Many people are being called to go to places around the earth at the moment, and many people don't know exactly what that's all about or why they would be called, what's happening. What I would say to them is do it. You don't need to know why. If your heart is calling you, if your spirit is calling you, doesn't matter where it is on the planet, go and then you'll find out. We use the rocking chair theory as a beautiful way of an analogy for our life. Take yourself back out into your distant future, where all you can do is sit back in an old rocking chair and look at the things that if you don't do, you'll regret it. Ask yourself, if I do this, is this what I'm supposed to do? If I don't do it, am I going to regret it for the rest of my life? Or can I let it go? You'll know the answer yourself, but you've got to trust what's inside. And the rest will happen, the rest will follow. That's what all of our journeys were about. 8 years, well over 12 countries, some of the hardest places we've ever got to, some of the most remote places. How did we get there? We got there because we knew we were meant to. So again, if this trip is calling you, you'll know it. We'll help you to make it happen. Jump on board and we're going to have the best time out.